So I serve as the Supplier Diversity Program Manager for University of Maryland, Baltimore. So in that role, we not only manage the contracts for all the graduate schools for University of Maryland, Baltimore, such as the law school, medical school, School of Nursing, and others, but we also have oversight for contracts for Coppin State University, Towson University, as well as University of Baltimore. Governor Moore is committed to making sure that minority-owned businesses get their fair share. So we have a 29% overall MBE goal for the state of Maryland. So I always tell people in looking to do business with the university, looking to do business with the state, is don't limit yourself, right? Don't limit yourself to a certain category or a certain NAICS code. Find out where the need is and figure out what you have to do to be able to fill that need.
Tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you see within your procurement department.
Yeah, well, some of the challenges.
All right, so we are live today from Baltimore, Maryland, and we are meeting with our special guest, Arnold Jolivet II. Arnold, tell us about who you are and what you do.
Oh, well, first, thank you for having me, Alison. First, I am a husband, a father, a son, someone who is just extremely passionate about helping people win, seeing people succeed in business, in life in general. And I really enjoy, what it is that I do.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about what you do um, and how it has impacted small businesses around your industry.
So it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. And so our mission is to let the business community know that we are open for business and to be able to provide as many opportunities as possible for those businesses to work with the University of Maryland. And if it's not with the University of Maryland, helping to refer them to other institutions or state agencies that they could do business with.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So, you are that guy that we go to when we, as small business owners, are looking to provide our services to the University of Maryland.
Absolutely.
Okay, wonderful. And how much money comes in and out of the University of Maryland as it relates to the procurement process?
Well, I mean, you're talking about billions of dollars
Mm.
in procurement, each and every year. So it's a lot of opportunity there, but the key is showing people how to navigate in those waters and how to be successful doing it.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And your title once again?
Supplier Diversity Program Manager.
Supplier Diversity Program Manager. Tell me a little bit about some of the challenges that you see within your procurement department.
Yeah, well, some of the challenges is being able to manage. So our department, I always say that the supplier diversity has three components. You have your compliance part, which the Governor's Office of Small Business Administration, Small Business Affairs, GOSBA, as it's called. Governor Moore is committed to making sure that minority-owned businesses get their fair share. So we have a 29% overall MBE goal for the state of Maryland.
That's incredible.
Yeah, 29%.
That's almost unheard of.
Right.
Let's just be clear for those of you who may not understand. So, as contracts are issued out by various governmental agencies, universities, so on and so forth, usually there's some level or some threshold, some requirement that minorities or women business owned enterprises participate in these contracts. And usually, and for those of you wherever you are, let us know in the comments what your diversity participation rates are. But usually those rates are usually closer to like 5%, sometimes 10%. On the high level, or some of the highest that I've seen, it's like 20%,
Right.
but 29%, I think that is incredible. Keep talking.
Yeah, and so it's a lofty goal, but it's great because it really pushes you to be able to achieve that, right?
Yes.
And so typically, traditionally, your minority businesses are heavy in your construction industry, but our goal is to be able to go beyond just construction or go beyond what have been the traditional trades for smaller minority businesses. So I always tell people in looking to do business with the university, looking to do business with the state, is don't limit yourself, right? Don't limit yourself to a certain category or a certain NAICS code. Find out where the need is and figure out what you have to do to be able to fill that need. And so those are some of the challenges, is bridging that gap, as I was mentioning, with compliance, making sure that we're on track, to meet those goals. So we have quarterly and annual reports that we submit to the governor's office, showing and being able to track where we are as far as our goals. We also have the education component, right? So education is not only educating people outside the university, but educating people within, the end users, the
Yes.
people on staff, the buyers making those decisions in various departments on why diversity is important, right? So you have your compliance, you have your education, and then last but definitely not least is your outreach. So your outreach means going out into the community, right? Making sure that we plant our flag saying, hey, we're open to business. So that means partnering with other trade organizations, other universities, other entities for different events. We attend events in Baltimore City, the Baltimore City government hosts, Prince George's County, Washington, D.C. So really getting out in the public and letting them know. But the majority of the effective outreach that we do is the follow-up after those events, kind of like a job fair. You go
Gotcha.
to a job fair, everyone's there putting out their resume and all that. But what is the follow-up that takes place after that? So I do at least 5 or 6 one-on-one meetings every single day with small business owners, trying to give them that direction, pointing them in the right direction to where to go in order to be able to be effective and win business.
Mm. So tell me about your experience with working with minority business owners and maybe some of the misconceptions that minority business owners have as they enter into this space. Because one of the things that I'm very well aware of, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, is you can lead them to a certain level. But there's another level to this in terms of carrying the ball.
Sure. Well, one thing I always say is I never encourage anyone to do business with someone just because they are a minority,
Yes.
right? You have to be qualified to be able to do the work. You might have the designation of being woman owned, African American, Asian, but that's not why someone should do business with you. So the misconception that just because I'm certified as an MBE or I have a minority status, that someone should do business with me is totally off.
Yeah,
Right?
yes. Yes. So some people think that just because they're, they meet the qualifications for the certification, that the certification in itself will lead them to business. Like, no, there's two sides of this, right? And oftentimes, I believe someone in your position, you lead them down the path to at least acquire their certifications. But however, there's still business to be done. So, and we were talking about like the differences between, in essence, what I do. I teach entrepreneurs how to become sharks.
Right.
Okay. And how to take advantage of these opportunities, how to negotiate, so on and so forth. But you help certainly bring them through the place where they at least acquire these certifications. And so oftentimes, there's over 3,000 municipalities across the United States. In addition to that, now you have colleges and universities, corporations, all of which have their own process
Sure.
to get you to your certification. However, you still need someone to take the ball. Like that's the 5% of the work that you do up front.
Right.
But you still now have to have your specialty. You have to have that special thing that you sell and do.
Absolutely.
So tell me about, the university, some of the thresholds that they've had, and maybe some of the challenges that they may have faced, and how they're pushing forward, maybe even some industries that you're seeing within your realm, specifically in the University of Maryland, that can help small business owners. Maybe it's in their field, maybe it's something that where there's opportunity, great opportunity, maybe there's a shortage.
Sure. So for example, going back to what you were saying, so the Maryland Department of Transportation is the certifying body for the state of Maryland,
Okay.
right? So if someone wants to get certified as a minority business enterprise, you have to go through MDOT to complete that process. So there are
Yeah.
over 10,000 certified MBEs, active certified MBEs in the database, right, for the state of Maryland. So what is it that is going to separate you from those other 9,999 companies, right? So for the University of Maryland, it's very unique because we have such a wide range of opportunity. So for example, we have, we'll do, let's say, 600 million in construction, in the fiscal year. But however, there's still opportunity with the medical school to provide. I was just talking today. There's a gentleman that has a company that's a courier service, but he just does regular packages, right?
Right.
I said, well, let's take a look at seeing if we can shift that from you providing delivery for packages for you providing delivery for medical equipment. Or if the medical school is doing research and is ordering a baboon from Africa to come, right? It has to come through customs. That animal has to be delivered to the university, or those supplies have to be delivered to the university. So just adding another aspect of courier service, you can 10x your income or your bottom line just by making that shift from adding another service that you're able to provide.
It's so funny that you say that, because just when I started in the government space, I had no clue what I was doing, right? I was doing everything. And eventually, you know, I narrowed it down. But some people think like I can't get into it because I don't really know what to do. And it's kind of like exactly what you said, right? As the more you do, the more experience you acquire, the more likely you'll find niches, like unique niches where you can, in essence, grow and scale your business by doing like these very unique components. And now you can take that service and not only offer it to the University of Maryland, but every university across the country doing that same thing. And that's how you scale.
Yes. Yes. So again, it's all about finding where the opportunity is, where the need is, and being able to fill it. And I always also tell everyone, I sit down with people all the time and they say, well, where are the $1 million contracts or the $500,000 contract? I said, well, how about if we get you 2 or 3 $25,000 contracts, right? Or the great thing about the state of Maryland is we have a P card program, right? A purchase card program where the folks and let's say someone at the law school in the admissions department, if they want to order 5,000 t-shirts for incoming law students, right? They can, if that threshold is $5,000 or less, it doesn't have to be competitively bid out to different companies. They can come straight to you, say, hey, Alison, you have a t-shirt business. We'd like to get 5,000 class of 2029 t-shirts. Can we do business with you? They give you the procurement card. Guess what? You swipe that card, you just have a $5,000 purchase.
And so this is what we talk about all the time, right? Are these what we like to call micro bids, right? These are opportunities where you don't even have to fill out, you know, a proposal. Okay, it's just really being in connection with the procurement agency and poking around, asking questions, right? And ultimately fulfilling the need. So like at Win Big Bids, in essence, we teach people how to become the answer. And people don't realize it's as easy as picking up your cell phone and making some phone calls to become the bid broker and connecting the two ends. Because sometimes, you know, people are in their business, they're doing what they're doing. And in essence, when they come into and they see the opportunity there, they might not know the opportunity even exists. And having someone to come in and make that connection, sometimes it's how people get started, right? It's how people get started, because this is a whole win big bid world that we live in. And there's, you know, unfortunately, like in the school system, we don't teach that as much as we teach going into the corporate spaces. And so that's why Win Big Bid exists, to teach people and to educate people that and this is just University of Maryland that does billions of dollars in, you know, of contracts that you issue out every year. What about the hundreds of thousands of other colleges all across the United States where there are diversity suppliers and procurement entities there looking and seeking to do work? And that's ultimately why we invited you, because a lot of folks only think, like when we say corporate and government, you know, universities kind of are in that quasi space in between the two, right? There might be some aspects of the university that are public, some aspects of them that are private. But that's the ultimate goal, is to really just, you know, express or extend that. So talk to me a little bit more about like, not too much juice, but just enough. Like, what's happening within the university, like contracts that you're seeing coming down the pike that might be like really unique. There's that special person out there that's watching, and they're, you know, they have this specific skill set maybe that the university is looking for, and might be even having a hard time securing a vendor to support.
Sure.
That need.
So one thing is unique that I love about the state of Maryland is we have something called USM. So that's University System of Maryland, right? So that's all of the state universities. So, and I say that to say is once you get your foot in the door with a University of Maryland College Park, you can leverage the fact that you're already doing business with a USM school because all the procurement process is similar, right? So the way a University of Maryland Baltimore County does business is going to be it's going to be some deviation, but it's going to be similar to how University of Maryland Eastern Shore does business, or Bowie State, or Coppin State, or Towson. So Maryland is unique because all of these, I think it's 11 universities within that system, are all linked together. So if you're a procurement person, I come to you and say, hey, Alison, I'm providing courier services for UMBC. We're already doing business with them. We're already in the system. We already know how your procurement works. That's going to make your job easier. So you have the leverage and the credibility of already having been rubber stamped by that one university you're doing business with, so you can pivot and do business with another university.
That is powerful. He's dropping nuggets here. If you're not catching this is incredibly important for you to know. Half of the challenge is just really getting started. And what we oftentimes talk about is there are reciprocity processes in and amongst and between various corporations, in this case, universities, from state to state. So sometimes, people think, oh, I got to have all these certifications, I got to have all these things.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily realize, like, you just got to start with one.
Sure.
And that one will put your foot in the door.
Yeah.
And so long as a university is looking for that thing, they might even find you within these systems to reach out to you to say, hey, I got this contract going on, or, would you be interested? Yeah. And it happens just like that.
And you mentioned about the sauce or just taking you back on how the sausage is made, right?
Yes.
So the position I'm in, there's someone in that same position at College Park. There's someone in that same position at Morgan State University. And people talk, right? So if I may call Tony at University of Maryland College Park and say, hey, Tony, we've got this contract coming out for this, or we have this need for this. Who are you using, or have you had a good experience with XYZ company or whatever it may be? And so that's why it's so important as a business owner to underpromise and overdeliver, right, on what you're doing, because guess what? When you do something good, word gets around. Yes. Or you do something not so good, the word gets around even faster.
And this is one of the things too that I say about great contractors. It's hard to catch them,
right? Because
they have, in essence, mastered the art of their craft.
Yes.
And in essence, you hit the nail on the head with, under promise, over deliver, right? Set the expectations for your client.
Sure.
Once you're able to do, so there's like almost, I hate to say it like this, but there's like a training that goes on back and forth, right? Where you are setting the expectations for your clients. That ultimately will set the standard for the business that you do, and word travels.
Absolutely. And so, as I mentioned before, we are in a unique position because there's such a wide array of procurement opportunities, right? One thing I would tell anyone, and I'm sure this is nothing that you haven't spoken about before, is make sure that you are AI literate, right, with your business, right?
I'm so glad you mentioned that. We have our Win Big Bid masterclass coming up for the Win Big Bid book launch, and we are a major part of our masterclass. We are getting into learning the art of using AI. AI is transforming the way in which business is being done. And if you're not on board with this, you are going to miss the boat.
You're going to miss the boat. You're going to be left behind. And even using AI as a tool when you talk about winning big bids, yes, right? And how that can work to your advantage when you're trying to find opportunities for your business, right? Or when you are dealing with the agency, making sure that you're asking the right questions. Right? I always said that the success of your business or the quality of your business will be determined by the quality of the questions that you ask, right? Within the RFP, when there's a Q&A, right? Questions that companies can ask the agency or the owner about how they want the work done or what's going to take place. So the quality of your proposal may rest on the questions and the answers that you get back from the agency. So yes, AI is absolutely critical to be used as a tool, not to do the work for you,
right?
Right,
but and that's what we say,
right? But to be used as a tool to give you that, because it's so competitive.
Yeah, what I've done, like recently, we submitted a proposal to a local municipality, and one of the things that we did was we ran our proposal through, and we said, where are our blind spots? What are we not seeing?
Right.
Right? What questions should we be asking um, to ensure that things from left field don't come out of nowhere? And what AI does ultimately, it helps you to not only, thwart issues before they arise, but it helps you. I say that the best proposals are those that have little footnotes. And the footnotes, in essence, will list out all of your assumptions,
Mhm.
right, within your proposal. I have seen people, they're so excited, they won the bid, and then they lost it on the back end simply because there were assumptions made and there wasn't this transfer in expectation,
Right.
right,
Mhm.
with their clients. Tell me about some of the most unique contracts
Mhm.
that the university issues to local vendors that you've seen.
Yeah. So, because we do have the medical school that does a lot of research, your dental school, your nursing school, I would say some of the most unique contracts are dealing with, without getting into too much detail
Sure,
about the
sure.
contract, are dealing with your clinical trials and your clinical space and some of the work and the research that is being done in the medical space. I mean, some things that would just absolutely blow your mind, of the research and things that are being done to better the lives of everyone. So I think when you talked about earlier, going back to your earlier question, is what I try to do with the folks I work with is bridge the gap, understanding that the contracts that we're uh, helping people achieve are helping to pay tuition, right? Or helping to
Mm,
pay mortgages, or it's not just a certification number, right?
right.
Or it's not just trying to reach that 29% goal. It's actually making a difference, which could be the difference between someone being able to keep their doors open, to be able to feed not only their families but the people that they're employed. So the unique this the University of Maryland, to me, is on the research side, on the medical school side, with those contracts that are being awarded to companies that are doing some very innovative work, whether it be figuring out how to reproduce artificial blood. I
Mhm.
mean, it's such a wide array of contracts, from your traditional to the innovative, that it really is mind blowing.
That is so incredible. And it's just to show that there are contracts for everything.
Mhm.
There is no industry where, contracts, government and corporate contracts, universities, and this, we should add that to our logo, universities do not touch. And ultimately it's for the betterment of humanity. It is becoming the answer. It's
Mhm.
being a part of, as we're transitioning through at rapid pace at this point, especially with AI at play. It is just so important that you become the answer, that you become the answer to your own challenges.
Right.
Um, and that, one of the things that I share oftentimes is that, the more people that play a role, I'm sure you see it all the time where it's the same person winning these contracts
Sure.
over and over again.
Sure.
Um, but there are everyday people can do this. There is no like requirement that you have a PhD or an MBA.
Right.
I don't even want to say even a high school diploma, but there's no requirement that says, you cannot apply for a government or corporate project.
Right.
Uh, and in essence, while especially on big projects, of course, you're looking at history
Sure.
because that's your responsibility to make sure that you're choosing the best contractor. But on some of these much smaller contracts,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no proposal. It's just a number on a piece of paper that you're submitting, and you're saying, I'll sell you these box of pencils for, you know, 10%, a 10% markup or something along those lines. And it's not as difficult as people make it seem.
Right.
And you can win a contract within 30 days or less, especially on these much smaller opportunities.
Yeah.
During our Win Big Bids launch party, we are going to be dropping all of the gems related to winning big government and corporate contracts. I'd love to invite you to be able to attend that event. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking to entrepreneurs all across this country about the importance of um, being and participating in government spaces. There's a lot of talk about government spending and how the government is spending so much money. In large part, if more people were to participate in the process, I'm sure the price itself would drop. I'm sure the university would love that. I'm sure everyday taxpayers would love that as well. And then we would have quite possibly a higher level of quality.
Yes.
In that now we have a larger pool of people with their name on their business, right? Now there's a personal attachment.
Yes.
I think there's something that happens sometimes, specifically in corporate spaces, where it's like we show up at 9 and we leave at 5.
Right.
And there's no like attachment to the work that we do. And I think in large part it's because oftentimes our name is not on it. Right. So, but we love the work that you're doing, and what you're doing for the city of Baltimore and for the residents of Maryland. If our clients wanted to get in touch with you to learn more about how they can participate with the University of Maryland and, to learn more about what it is that you do and how you serve your local community, where would they contact you?
Sure. You can contact me via email directly at Jolivet, that's Joliv as in Victor, ET, at U, the letter U, Maryland, spelled out, MARYLAND.edu. And you can also go to our website, which is umaryland.edu/procurement.
Okay, perfect. And we will have all of your contact information in the description box below. Thank you so much for meeting with us and for sharing with our audience just the benefits and what you see out in the market space as it relates to being a diversity supply manager. And with that, thank you for all of you for joining us today.